Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Night Live call-in show with the phone lines working. Knock on wood. I just tested them. It looks like everything is good to go. So we are getting ready to have the show here in a few minutes. So settle in. Let everybody know that you're here. We're going to start at the top of the hour. Scotty G is watching his Sparty, Michigan State Spartans take on the Marquette Golden Eagles right now. And I do have it on in the studio, even though I told myself I wasn't watching basketball. It's 42-all in the second half. So he will not be joining us. And if you talk basketball tonight, I will hang up on you. A little salty still. A little bit. A little salty. Yeah. Mizzou had a rough one yesterday against Princeton. Let's test this real quick. Check 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2. Check. There. Hello, Margie. Hope you're having a good weekend. Mercy. I ate my pre-podcast Taco Bell a little too fast tonight, I think. Whew. It's running late. Let me get some news here. Let's see if Ricky's been doing her job. BMouseforless.com. I know, I'm watching it. Oh, she has. Nice. We have news. If you bring up the game, if you bring up basketball, I will hang up on you. Just for tonight. I'm still salty. I will talk about why Wade and Scott are great friends because they did not text me one time last night because I was still so salty. And I spent Pam and I both, and God bless Pam for doing it with me, spent 6.5 hours yesterday replacing a belt on a treadmill after my team lost. Yeah, yesterday was beautiful. I was a greasy mess, and I was physically destroyed in the same day. Yes, Wayno's pitching for the USA, so it's all baseball season at this point. So we can talk about some new stuff coming to Disney Springs, all the stuff coming to Epcot, which is basically just interventions again, it kind of looks like to me. It looks like they tore down the building and built something similar, but new. That'll be fun. Getting soft open for Tron here March 20th. That's today. No, it's tomorrow. That Energy Bites, I will be taking part in that because I think they have Brownie Bites or something like that I saw. Oof. I'm all about Brownie Bites. We'll talk about it. And I have the Wheel of Topics in case you guys want to talk about that. We could do many trip reports. That guy just got tripped in the Michigan State game and landed on his tailbone. Oof. Hello, Justin, out in Cleveland. Hopefully it's nice out that way. It's been freezing in St. Louis this weekend. What? It's supposed to be mid-March. It was in the wind chill was I think 2 this morning. Stupid. It's supposed to be nice. Hello. Let's see. Why is it so loud? Hello. Okay, my voice is back good. I'd hate to have to do a show like that. That'd be terrible. Terrible, I say. Terrible. All right, let's do some news. Let's take some calls. I gave Scott the link to call in after the game, but I don't know how it is. He won't, and I wouldn't either. So he's not in Columbus. He's in Lansing, watching from his house, I think. But yeah. I don't know if UConn won or not. I think they're playing right now. I think, right? I think. Oh. All right. Well, let's see if we can do this and do it better than last week. Last week was a train wreck, but actually the show ended up being kind of fun for me. All righty. Here we go. Let's have some fun. And spread the word on social media for me. Please do. Wherever if you're on Twitter or Facebook, say, hey, I'm listening. Join us. Come on over. Here we go. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the BOGP open line for Sunday night, March 19th, 2023. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from brguestpodcast.com. And of course, you can find me working every single day over at the magicforless.com as one of the senior travel agents. I am very lucky and I get to help folks head to the Disney destinations each and every day for the lowest cost possible. But my main mantra, my main goal is that my guests have the most magical vacation ever. That my guests don't get to Walt Disney World or, get on a Disney cruise line ship and say, what's going on? There's so much to do here. I don't have an idea. I want you to be ready. I want you to be prepared. I want to be like the coach in March Madness. I want to be that coach that, the locker room before the game, has the game plan, gets you ready so that when you're out there, you've been there mentally, you know the plan, you know what to do, and then you can enjoy it. The game's the fun part. The vacation's the fun part. You've got to get the plan in place. You've got your ADRs. You've got your park reservations. You've got your strategies. Which days we're going to rope drop? Which days we're going to sleep in? Which days we're going to go to the pool? Then you can have a good time. So I'm just excited that I get to do that, and I hope that if we've never worked together on a Disney vacation, that we could do that one time and just try it out, because I think you would like our services, even if it's not with me, one of the other travel agents over at the Magic for Less. We really do work hard to make sure our guests have amazing trips, because I know how special they are for me. With Paige and Mallory and Pam, my family, we don't get to go near enough, and it costs an arm and a leg to go. So I want to make sure every day is special, every hour is special. And I want that for every one of my guests. So that's just a quick sell. I want you to come and have a good time at a Disney destination. You listen to a Disney podcast. Let's make it happen. But let's have a fun show tonight, because I'm flying solo. Scotty G is not with us right now because his basketball team, the Michigan State Spartans, are playing right now in March Madness. I think I will get in trouble if I do play-by-play, because, they always have that thing that, we don't have the rights or anything, but it's a 46-42 game with 8:20 to go, according to my TV here in the studio, and Michigan State's up, so good for Scott. But we're going to take your calls here in just a minute. I see we have a couple on the board, so we'll be doing that in just a second, but let's take some news right at the top of the show. Then open the phone lines. I tested them. They should work. It should not be a train wreck like last week. But let's hit the news over at themouseforless.com. We have 2 new dining experiences coming to Disney Springs. Ricky is back from maternity leave. Holy cow, that was quick. And she's written some articles for us. So she says let's see here. We have, let's go through here. The Summer House on the Lake is coming to Disney Springs in 2023, later this year. And it says it's going to give beach house vibes, and you can enjoy a California-inspired menu, including simple, sustainable ingredients. Dishes will include things like pizza and pasta to fresh salads and sandwiches. Plus, it's going to have Summer House Rosé. Look at that. I got the thing on the end, along with a selection of wine, beer, handcrafted cocktails, and non-alcoholic drinks. In addition, guests will also be able to enjoy the cookie jar. Cookie jar, a dessert-focused market within the space, serving up freshly baked cookies and house-made pastries. Oh my goodness. It was recently also announced that Corksicle is going to open a shop in Disney Springs for insulated drinkware, coolers, and accessories. Let's see. It's going to be their first retail location. If you're a runner, you see that Corksicle, is that how you say it? Corksicle. They sponsor a lot of the Run Disney events. I know they were a big sponsor of Princess Half Marathon weekends. You get your insulated water bottles and such, and holders and all that good stuff. They say that it keeps your stuff very cold, and it's very expensive. So enjoy your Corksicles, but they do work well. So that's what I've heard. Also, we got some new concept art and new information about the Epcot transformation that's happening, dead in the center of what used to be Future World. Now the 3 new world neighborhoods, they're calling them. So we're going to get later this fall, Journey of Water is going to open, featuring Moana. That'll be found in World Nature. That's going to have a self-guided exploration trail to take you through the natural water cycle. It's going to showcase the journey from the skies to the ocean and back again. Then later this year, guests are going to be able to experience Communicore Hall, which is going to open over in World Celebration. It's going to be the center of festival programming throughout the park, and it's going to be home to a new character greeting location called Mickey and Friends, where you can meet Mickey Mouse and some of his pals. It's also going to have an exhibition space that's going to transform with each festival that happens throughout the year. It's been designed by Walt Disney Imagineering to celebrate the legacy of Epcot and the original Communicore buildings. So here's what I want to, when we open the phone lines here in just a second, give me your thoughts on what you saw about that, because I'm excited for this because it's very much what Epcot was. But it looks very much like the old Innovations buildings. It looks very similar. It looks like if you'd just kind of did a facelift on the old buildings that were there. It looks very similar. I don't know, to me, maybe not. So tell me what you think about that. Did they knock something down to put something up that was similar? So news over at the Magic Kingdom. Both of them kind of have to do with Tron. We're going to have a new snack stand right next to Tron over in Tomorrowland. And this one's called Energy Bites. I like that name. Reality Bites, and so does Energy. But here's some of the things you can get at this little, it kind of looks like the Joffrey stand right there, kind of by Space Mountain. It's kind of about the same size, it looks like. You're going to be able to get some futuristic inspired treats. Let's see here. You can get breakfast items, savory snacks, sweet treats, and refreshing beverages. Some of the things you can get, buffalo chicken and dumplings. They're called digital dumplings, buffalo chicken. Let's see. They have chicken dumplings, blue cheese powder, and cayenne pepper broth. They also have beef and broccoli dumplings. Okay, so that's interesting. The sweet treat, strawberry ice form. The strawberry ice cream mochi. I'm not a foodie. Graham crackers and a little bit of cheesecake foam to finish it off. I think she didn't put it in here, but I'm pretty sure they had like a brownie bites thing too. I saw somewhere. How could Ricky not put that in the article? But they have some, breakfast items. They have some savory things, but I think I'm going to go there for the sweet treats. Finally, the news of the day. Tomorrow, March 20th, Tron Light Cycle Run enters a soft opening through April 2nd. So March 20th through April 2nd, Tron will be open for limited soft openings if you're there. So if you're going down starting tomorrow through April 2nd, which is 2 days before the official opening of April 4th, you might be able to get into a virtual queue situation to ride Tron. So that's going to be there. And I think they're also going to have individual lightning lanes for purchase when it is available. So look for that. If you're going down, you might get to ride it starting tomorrow, March 20th, if you're listening live here on Facebook or YouTube. So are you excited for that? Are you headed down? Are you, so what are you thinking about the news over at Epcot or over at Disney Springs or Tron or anything else that's happened we talked about Lighthouse Point coming online in summer of 2024. What do you think about any of these things? All right, so let's open up the phone lines. It's going to be you and me. Scott's not here. He's watching basketball. So let's take your calls at 407-413-9395, 407-413-9395. We can do mini trip reports, but if we're going to do a trip report tonight, let's keep it to the highlights of the trip report. Let's try to keep it to about 10 minutes so that we can get enough phone calls in if possible. So kind of think about what the highlights of that trip were. And if you want to do a full trip report, let me know. We'll get you on the calendar because that'd be fun. But yeah, let's do that. And I'm excited because I get to go to Disneyland here a week from Wednesday. We're going to get to do some media stuff out there for Disney 100. So we're going to get to go see the evening stuff, the parade at Disneyland, the new World of Color editions. We're going to get to see the new Toontown, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, all kinds of stuff. So I'm excited to head to Disneyland here in about 10 days at this point. So exciting times coming to share here on the podcast. We have our first call. Hey, who's joining us?
Hey, it's John from New Jersey. How you doing?
Hey, oh man, you're from New Jersey. Oh, Princeton beat Mizzou yesterday. You're killing me already. No, just kidding. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
Which team you talking about? I don't follow basketball. Are you talking about FDU or no?
No. So I'm a Mizzou Tiger fan, born and bred. My studio's Mizzou Tiger Gold, and Princeton upset us yesterday in the big tournament. So it was a tough one.
You know, I grew up in the town where Fairleigh Dickinson is, that Cinderella team.
Yeah, hey,
and it's funny.
I'm all in with them
Yeah,
guys now. Those guys, they're giant killers. I'm going to be rooting for them tonight. That's amazing.
But the sad thing is they used to call them Fairly Ridiculous before.
Well, they've got fans in
Because
this
their
house.
their tuition was so expensive that everybody called them, no joke, when he went to school in Teaneck, where I'm from, you didn't want to go there because that was the rule. It was called Fairly Ridiculous. So it was sad, but
I appreciate that. That's
what are you gonna do?
cool because my daughter is she's director of basketball operations for a small women's basketball team, and they have a small gym. And to see that just warms, because I saw what their gym looks like. It looks like our high school gym. And to see that they're out there, taking out, Purdue, that makes me happy. So we're going to be cheering for them tonight. But anyway, I don't want to derail your call. What's going on? What do you want to talk about?
Well, first of all, I'd like to, congratulate you on the milestone episode that you guys posted. That was so funny, and I wanted to thank you for that, where you talked about the best of other podcast episodes. Do you remember you did that?
Yeah, I did. And more than a podcaster, I'm a fan of podcasts, and so many have come before us, and I've enjoyed the heck out of them. So I was glad to get to talk about them.
But I just want, I know it's off topic, but I wanted to say my favorite episode that you guys ever did. And I want you to know I got to fool everybody at my job, was the April Fool's episode that you guys did. I don't know if you remember that episode.
Now
where people,
go ahead. We've done a few. So which one was it? Because we've done a couple of them through the years.
Well, this one was, the prices of the tickets were so high, you recommended jumping over the fence.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
and then you said you offered to help parents dump their trays so you can finish their chicken nuggets for them.
Not too far from the truth at this point.
And then you said you could take the pizza, the people who ordered pizza, and use it again. Oh my God! I worked next to the New York Stock Exchange, and it was so funny. I was like, I don't remember how long ago that episode was. I said, you gotta listen to this. I know I'm a Disney fan, but you guys gotta listen to this. You gotta listen to this. And people are like, this is what you gotta do to save money. This is what you gotta do. And everybody was into it. They're like, what the heck? It was hilarious.
You know what though, about that show, there was in the news at that time, because when you said the thing about the pizza, that reminded me, because in the news at that time, there was something going around social media about Showbiz or Chuck E. Cheese. There was some rumor that they took like leftover pizza and like put them together and made like full pizzas of the leftovers. That's where we got the idea for that show. And I'm like, we're totally doing this.
That fit in perfectly, because I told everybody, I said, listen, when I retire, I'm going to be homeless in Walt Disney World. And I had it all planned out. I said, I listed everybody where I would shower, where I would swim, up to what time, and where I would, and people are like, what? I said, yeah, if I run out of money, this is the place I'm going to go. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. I got it all planned out. and then the episode came out. It was I loved that episode. I really did. And I wanted to thank you for all the work you do. Because I've been listening to podcasts for so long, and they would keep me going. I mean, it would be like, you work late hours, and you just play these podcasts, and they would just stay, and you're like, I don't understand why they're so addicting. You listen to them, and they're addicting. It's like, I don't know. I think it's because they were free. I think that's the biggest reason. Because you didn't have to pay for the content. And right. The other content you had to pay for.
Right. And what it is for me, I think, and I thank you first of all, because making the podcast is always my fun part of the week. It's a joy to do this, and it's very kind of you. But because I get a lot of new podcasts on Mondays, because a lot of them go out on Sunday nights, and so when I open my phone at 5 o'clock in the morning on Mondays when I get ready to hit the treadmill, I still get excited when I say, oh, here's one from the Disney Dish. Oh, here's one from, This Week in Tech. And here's one from this retro show. Every time I see it, I know it's going to be there, but I get excited because like, oh, I got new content to listen to this week. And for me, what it is, it's like I feel like I've been listening to these shows for some of them for over a decade. I feel like I know these people. I've never met them, but it's like I got to keep up. What have they been up to this week? Like what's been going on? So that's kind of how I feel.
I always thought you met Lou Mangello because of the way you talk about him. I figured you met him.
No, I've met Lou a few times. Yeah, I've met most of the Disney people, but I listen to a lot of like technology shows and stuff, and a lot of those folks I've never met, like the more famous people.
Hey, you guys are famous. Trust me, you guys are wonderful.
I'm a dude sitting in the middle of Missouri in my basement right now. I'm not famous.
Trust me. I mean, during COVID, I worked from my basement with a virtual background. It looks like I'm in my office. It's hilarious when I'm not in the office. So, trust me, where you are means nothing. But no. But I wanted to thank you. I'm actually excited about all these new things opening up. I'm going to see what I'm going to do. I have to go down to Florida because I'm organizing a conference. This is a first conference that I'm doing in Walt Disney World since about right before COVID. And we're going to be organizing it in Disney Springs. It's an accounting conference. It doesn't sound exciting, but I helped the team, organize this, and I'm pretty happy about that. And it was so funny. It's just nice to have an excuse to go down there. And I usually bring the family down. So I probably won't be able to go into the park because I'll be at the conference. But I think my kids will be there because the kids will be out of college and it should be okay. So, yeah, I'm excited.
I mean, just to get to go down, it's exciting because I've done the same thing where we go down for cheerleading most years. We're not going this year, but they don't let the girls go into the park until they're eliminated from the competition. Right. So it's one of those things like we've always made the finals. So it's like, oh, can't go today because we got to cheer again. Oh, we made it to the finals. So we can't go into the parks again. And you got to buy 3-day tickets going, up front as part of your cheer package. And we're like, well, dang, can't do that. So it's one of those things like it's exciting to go to Disney for a conference or competition or something. But then again, it's like you're so close as a Disney fan. Like, dang, I left a couple times and just jumped into a park like early in the morning. Matt would be cheering at like 10:30 in the morning. I'm like, okay, I'll get an Uber. I'll be there by the time you cheer. I promise. But I'm going to go ride 2 rides because I had to pass. So yeah, I get it. But I mean, hey, so how hard is it to organize something like that? I've never had to organize anything. I just kind of go along.
We're organizing it in Disney Springs. You know where the Wyndham is, right next to Disney Springs?
Oh yeah, sure thing. Mm-hmm.
Where you walk to it. We're organizing it there. We had to pick a hotel because it really depends on having sponsors, okay? And the sponsors, the way it works with the sponsors, so let's say they consult this accounting software. They like to go to a hotel where they can get points so that they can take their family for free later on in the summer. So that's the problem about organizing it on Disney property because they don't have a reward system. So it's once we take it off Disney property, it's a lot easier to get sponsors. If you're at a Hilton or at a Wyndham, at a Holiday Inn, any of those hotels, because, these people travel for business and travels back again. So what they like to do is they'll pay for a lot of the cost. The cost of the meals is going to be like $300 for 2 days. And we're only charging $200 because the vendors who are sponsoring it are paying a good chunk of the cost.
Yeah, I see that.
So, and what happens is you'd be surprised. The moment you say Walt Disney World, everybody volunteers to help. It's just, the only problem is a lot of companies like, oh, you're going to go there and this. But the good thing is because it's technically not a Disney resort, it's easier to get approval. Because once they see you're going to the Swan and Dolphin, everyone knows that.
Yeah.
But the Disney Springs ones aren't as famous. They have good meals, and and they have their own transportation system. And if it doesn't work, you can just walk over to to Disney Springs. It's not like you're stuck. So, I learned about Disney Springs because I got sent to a conference years ago. It was at the Contemporary, and my company balked. We're not paying you that much money. We're not paying you. So I said, okay. And then I found this hotel. I stayed off property, and I took a cab there with a bunch of people who were staying there, and and it was very cheap, But I liked it. I liked it. I think you could do it easily because you do this podcast. But
well, no,
you know,
because I mean, when we went down for cheer, we always stayed because every year we did this 4 years in a row. We stayed at a Disney Springs hotel. We stayed at the Holiday Inn. We stayed at the Hilton. We stayed at the
yeah,
Hyatt. we stayed at the B, which is down a little bit further. We did that whole row because again, I think the whole thing with the gym was that they had like rewards programs. The gym owners were the ones who picked the hotel, and so they probably were trying to get everybody the reward. I get it. I mean, Disney should have a rewards program, but that's a whole nother show. As much as I go, I'd be living
they
large if
don't
they had one.
understand that. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
They
it's
don't
fine.
seem to understand. They don't seem to understand that the rewards are very key to the people who are like the people traveling, because if you're going to be away from your family, you want to spend time with your family later on. So,
Right.
And then the biggest one is Hilton. If you can get it at a Hilton, you're just like in heaven. Those are the best. But, the Hilton was booked when we were doing it, and, so,
I hear
mean,
you. Yeah, I wish they did rewards. I mean, like I use a Disney Visa exclusively just so I can get my rewards points. I know there's other cards that have probably better deals, but I go to Disney so much, that's I'm loyal to them. So, it'd be nice. Well, Disney's got you though. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still going to Disney, so they probably don't need it, but it would be a nice gesture. It would be nice.
yeah, that'd be cool. That would be cool. I mean, I've actually spent a lot of time when I brought the kids and I had a conference, I didn't go into the park because it didn't make sense to buy a ticket. So I would at night I would, meet them off property, either at either at the Swan and Dolphin to eat, and I would just go back and let them, they're old enough now where they can just do stuff on their own. So it's not like I have to be there. And unfortunately the tickets aren't the cheapest. So you don't want to blow a lot of money just to go in for 3 hours. I mean,
No.
I used to have an annual pass, but during COVID, I let it expire and I can't buy it again. So, and I'm a DVC member, so I got to go down there anyway. So,
That just burns me. The DVC people cannot get their annual passes back. That just rubs me so the wrong way that you own a DVC contract and that you can't purchase an annual pass again. And I'm not even a DVC member, but I just think that is one of those things that just bugs me because I just think some things are just wrong. And that is, I don't know. I gave up my family's annual passes during COVID. I kept mine because I knew I'd be traveling for work, right? I go a lot. So I kept mine. So I use it a lot, but my girls don't have them. So like, for example, we're going for the cruise in July and we're going to do like 2 days before the cruise and 2 or 3 days before the cruise and 2 or 3 days after the cruise. But the problem is like with Magic Your Way tickets, they're only good for 2 days longer than how many days, right? So if I buy a 4-day ticket before the cruise, it'll be expired after the cruise. So we're either going to only have to do the parks before or after. So we'll like probably do a water park and do putt like before, and then maybe do the parks after or something. You really got to get creative when you don't have that flexibility of an annual pass, which we're totally used to having. It makes you think about things a little different.
I did the first thing I would never thought I would do. I bought an annual pass to Universal last year just so I had something to do. It was, I never thought I would do that. And the kids had a great time. It wasn't like it was a bad time. It was a wonderful time. But they're not Disney. The only thing that I would do, if I went to Universal again, I would stay on one of their hotels that gives you front of the line access,
Right?
Because their lines are really long. I mean, I'm sure I haven't been into a Disney park, so I can't tell you. But I'm sure the lines are really bad in the Disney parks too. But I don't know. It's okay. I just like walking around.
Yeah,
I
same
really
here.
do.
I'm getting
But
older.
I'm a DVC member, and this is an interesting thing because Disney banned. I bought my original DVC on the resale market. Disney turned around and said you don't get the perks if you buy it on the resale market after a certain period of time. Now there's a trick on how to handle it. You can cut me off if you want to go to another show, but there's a trick. Like if you bought it from Disney, right? If you bought it from the third party, you can add on from Disney, and once you add on from Disney, you're on it's like you originally bought from
Yeah,
me.
you're legit
So
at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. But now that the fact that they don't allow people to buy annual passes, it really doesn't. There's no disincentive to buy on the secondary market. So because if they're not going to let you, that was the big thing, is you got a discount on the annual passes, and
Yep.
now I mean, the DVC is cool because you get to stay in really, really nice hotels.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you don't go to Disney parks, the hotels are really nice and you can have a lot of fun. So it's not, I can honestly say it's been very valuable to me. It hasn't been like, oh, I got ripped off, but
I get
I
it.
wish I could buy the pass.
Hey, maybe we make things happen sometimes. So maybe talking about it, this will happen this week. Who knows? I mean, we talked about Ricky and bam, she had a baby she had a baby the next day. So who knows? We'll cross our fingers. You and Wade's looking for his.
I had an idea about a restricted annual pass where they said, like instead of having blackout dates, saying here's an annual pass, but you can only, because Disney doesn't want you coming 400 times, right? Or, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So because they want to restrict it, so maybe they could come up with something so that like, hey, here's an annual pass. It's a restricted DVC, and you could only come, let's say, 15 or 16 days. And then that way, they can budget the dates. You know what I mean? I understand what they're trying to do.
I still, though, think an annual pass is an annual pass. It's, annuals a year. You should be able to go when you want. I mean, it's expensive. So they need to make it happen because they do renewals. It's will, because the problem is they make way more money on Magic Your Way tickets than they do annual passes. That's the bottom line. They're holding on to it. Is every day they hold on to it, they're making more money on Magic Your Way tickets. They know that, and so they're going to hold on to it as long as they can.
I'm an accountant, and I disagree with that, because if you have an addicted person, let's just say, like, I've got addicted kids, okay? If you have kids who are addicted to Disney, every chance that you can to spend money that is anything Disney, including, getting Disney Plus, or you go to the supermarket and instead of getting the regular cereal, you get the one that has the Disney character, or, getting a shirt that says Disney. I don't think they're counting that. So if they take these kids, they take the annual passes away, and let's say more and more people, say, hey, you know what, maybe I'll stick with Universal. They're going to get addicted to Universal, and I think they lose long-term revenue.
No, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. They're not looking long-term. They're looking short-term. They're looking at right now maximizing profits, but they're going to lose brand loyalty. I agree, because that's exactly what they're doing with cutting Magical Express. They're forcing people to kind of explore other third-party options, and maybe, well, I'm not trapped in the Disney bubble anymore. I'm going to Universal. While I'm there, they're hard selling annual passes, just like you said. They're not very expensive. Why not get an annual pass? You're exactly right. It's not long-term looking, is what it is.
You should do a show on, like, eating off property, the really good restaurants off property. You might have done one already.
You know what? Pam Forrester was down there for over a month and a half. And she found some awesome places, especially this Mexican joint that I wanted to go to, but we didn't. We'll do that because she found some good places. But I got to roll because I got some other people trying to get in. I want to get them in tonight. But hey, it's great talking to you. Hey, bye. I appreciate that. And don't be a stranger. I appreciate you calling in from New Jersey. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye. All righty. The number is 407. We got our next call, so guess don't need to give the number. But hey, who's joining us next?
Hey, Mike, it's Tom. How you doing?
Tom, it's Mike. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Thank you. So
what's going on?
Every time I get a chance to call you in and you pick up, I feel like I lost my all my good luck for the Powerball this week. So
oh man, dude, don't let me root for your basketball team. Let me just tell you. Hey, I'm still here. I'm just sliding back and getting a soda.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I wanted to well, two things. One, I don't know if you heard, but I have a reservation in June, and we're staying club level at the Wilderness Lodge.
Oh,
and I got a call today from Signature Services. They usually call you a little bit before your reservation and everything.
Yep.
They have a new offering exclusive for club level guests, minivan service to and from the airport.
I've heard that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if
No,
everyone.
I've heard that
they're doing.
they're testing it with club level guests, is what I've heard.
Yes. So you could book it 60 days out, so same as your dining, and I think he said $199 each way, so kind of pricey.
So, but it holds 6 people though, right?
Yeah, up to 6 people. So it's $199 per car, up to 6 people.
Huh. So let me just tell you, because I always take Uber because I've been going solo for the last few times. Uber usually costs me $45 plus tip ish. So just a comparison there. You could probably be in like a Civic or something, you know, with somebody that doesn't talk to you. Which I mean, a lot of times I'm happy if they don't talk to me because I take that 5 a.m. flat. I usually sleep. I put in my AirPods and you know I'm out for 20 minutes. What do you think about that? You considering taking the minivans over?
So I don't, personally, I've done the car services for about half the price.
Yeah.
I think maybe around like 120-ish or so, 125 the past couple of years I've done it, with a tip. So I prefer the guy waiting, holding my name on the little clipboard.
That is cool. That's only happened to me once I went to a media event and they're like, okay, so what time are you going to land? I was like, well, why does it matter? They're like, well, because we're going to have a car there. And I thought I was going to have to go out, to find a car or something. No, there was a dude in a suit with like a iPad. I was like, as soon as I saw the guy, I was like, this is the coolest thing in the world. I was like, can we get a selfie together? He's like, oh yeah. First thing I did was send it to my dad. I was like, I don't know what else happens in this whole thing, but I've already this is the highlight of the whole trip. I haven't even left the airport yet. My name's on an iPad.
I know it's so bougie.
It is totally. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, because he went and got my bag. I was like, you don't have to get my bags. Like, I'll get my suitcase. Like, trust me.
Yeah.
Let's go.
No, yeah, it's really cool. They have a special spot that they park. Yeah, I for about $50-ish cheaper each way.
Yeah.
I think I would go that route, but I get, if you have kids, the minivan, you usually have to pay extra for car seats, I think.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
If you're getting a car service, but the minivan's got them. So, plus it'd be cool to pull up in a minivan.
Oh, yeah. Well, I did take one from the airport one time because this was just luck. We were standing in line for Magical Express, and sometimes those lines were like long to check in after, you land, you didn't get your bags. You just went directly to Magical Express and you stood there, and then they told you, it's so long. It seems like it's forever ago. Remember they tell you like what chute to go down? Like, oh, you're in chute 7. That's where Pop Century is. Or you're in chute 3 because you're going to Wilderness Lodge, whatever. And we were waiting in that line, and some guy just walked up and like, hey, how's it going? Did you guys have a good flight? I'm like, yeah, we had a good flight. Yeah, it's fun. And he's like, so where are you guys headed? I'm like, Pop Century. He's like, you want to ride a minivan? I was like, yes. This is right when they started. I'm like, how much is that going to cost? He's like, oh, we're just testing them. It'll be free. I was like, oh, yeah, let's go. I told my family, I was like, Pam and the girls, I'm like, get out of that line. We're getting in that minivan. It was awesome. It just luck.
Yeah.
It was such luck.
Yeah, that is pretty good luck and a pretty cool experience. So, yeah, but you see, because as much as I miss Magical Express, we almost never took it back from the airport. From the hotel to the airport.
Because of the 3-hour thing?
The 3-hour thing. I would just Uber at that point. So, but that's just me. So
see, here's the thing. I'm so paranoid of missing a flight. I force myself. I'm like, okay, I do the 3-hour thing. I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I'm in my Uber 3 hours before my flight. Like I use the Magical Express mantra, philosophy. I'm an idiot. And then I sit there and I'm like, I could do a whole day's worth of work at the airport waiting for my flight at the gate because I get there so early. But I mean, I'm early for everything in my life. I'm one of those people that if you're not, 20 minutes early, you're late. Just my dad, pushed that into me when I was a kid, and I can't shake it. when people show up late, it is and people that if they walk in at the last second, my heart can't take that. I get nervous.
Yeah, no. There's that old mantra we used to use way back in the day. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late.
Yeah.
If you're late, you're forgotten.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, exactly it. Yeah, because I mean, I played sports. You know, you had to be the first one there.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, see, because I don't usually get to airports by myself, and I'm traveling alone very early because I pack just a small carry-on. I mean, I've gone overseas with just a carry-on. I have pre-check. I have global entry. So like, I always breeze through, and I forget when I'm with my wife. She doesn't have that. So we have
Sorry.
we have to swap it with the rest of the non-pre-check people.
I know.
Take the laptop out and the shoes, and
I do all that. I keep meaning to get something like that, but I go through with the regs, with the normal people. I don't know. I don't fly that much. Yeah. I fly more now than I used to for sure, but oh well. One of these days.
Yeah, but I also wanted to throw my 2 cents into something. The other day on your show, you had a question about where's the best place on a boat to avoid seasickness.
Oh yeah, okay. What do you think?
So it is center line, close to the center of the ship. So you want to get as far down below, closest to the center line, closest to the middle of the ship. So you want to sleep in the engine room.
You want to be lower. You want to be lower than higher. Because I've always heard higher on the ship.
Yeah. Now, I mean, cruise ships, they have those stabilizers, which might help a little bit. Well, they help a lot. So I used to work on a cruise ship.
Oh, cool.
So, it was a part of my training. I did about 65, 70 days on as an engine cadet working in the engine room. But yeah, so the lower, it's always, you want to be low, close to the center, because when pitching up and down, you're probably right. Up high is good, but when the higher you are, the more you're rolling to the off that center of gravity of the vessel. So
yeah, I don't want to.
I guess
think
it depends.
That. Yeah, we got the podcast cruise coming up in 100 days. Let's hope there's no pitching, rolling, or anything except maybe in like a baseball simulator, pitching back some shots of tequila or something in the tastings. That's about all I'm worried about.
Well, that's the crazy guys like me. That's why it's hard for me to get on a cruise ship. Ships are my life, so I can't walk on board a ship without looking for something.
Yeah, I know that's like the hazard of the job. I know, that's the same with me. With a lot of things, I'm always like, anything educational. Like if I'm in any kind of an educational institution, I'm always breaking everything down. Like, just enjoy it, Mike. You're here to have fun. Yeah, it's all no. So what was that like? I mean, being on a ship that long, did you enjoy that, or was that something you just kind of yeah, I mean, because I've always been curious about that, because it seems like, now again, I'm way too old to do this, but in a past life, I thought like a great job for me would have been to be not like a cruise director, but on the cruise director's staff. I'd like to host like the trivia, like the small events, right? I think I'd have been good at like hosting the trivias and but the only thing is, like, on these cruises I've been on with Disney Cruise Line Royal, like the whole cruise director staff are all good dancers, because they dance at like the sail away party. They dance at like, in the discos at night, and they'll have these choreographed. I can't dance for the crud, so I'd be terrible at that. I guess I could learn, but I love to host.
Putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I know, but I have no problem making myself look like a fool. I do it 5 times a week on this show, but
yeah, I do it all the time when I'm with my daughter.
Right, I do it for free, So I mean, I think it'd be fun. But I mean, was there something surprising about being on a cruise ship that long? What'd you think?
So I loved it. It was a great job, especially when you're younger. But like I worked in the engine department, so I kept the lights on, the props moving. Well, we had ASI pods, but so I had a kind of different experience. But because of my position, we got to go like eat in like passenger dining. We got to go to the bars and hang out, and we had to wear our uniforms, but mingle with the passengers, talk to them. We were given credits, so we could like buy a passenger a drink. So if they came and talked to us and asked us questions about the engine room, we could like buy them a drink or something at the bar. So it was awesome. It was a great experience. I worked on ships, all types of ships. And, at least we had lots of people and interactions, and it's a lot more fun.
That'd be fun.
So, but no, it's it was a great experience. And I was with the Norwegian Cruise Lines, NCLs in Hawaii. So it was American, all American crew. For the most part. Well, everyone was American for the most part. They had
you said you
U.S.
were
Coast Guard documents.
Were you on the Pride of America?
So I was on the Pride of Aloha.
Okay, let me just tell you, I've actually been looking at that actual cruise because my wife, for her 50th birthday, she's been wanting to go to Hawaii for 20 years. And we've always gone to Disney because that's like my thing. And now that's what I do for a living. And that's just what we do. We've gone to Disney countless times. She's asked to go to Hawaii for 20 years. She just turned 50. So I'm trying to make it happen for her. So we're trying to decide whether to go to a resort, but we were also looking at that because we were looking at going to all the islands. Like, right. We wanted to, like kind of have like a sampler, and we like cruising. Yeah. So I was actually looking at that actual sailing that takes you around, the 7-night sailing on that ship. It's so funny you say that.
Yeah, it's actually, this was years and years ago. This is over 10 years ago from now, but no, it's a great sailing. The only problem I always had with it personally is, if you're going to Hawaii, you only have a finite number of days off. 7 days is kind of wasted. I don't say wasted, that's a bad word, but you're dedicating 7 days of your Hawaii vacation on a cruise.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at, because like the way the flights were going to work, because we're going to fly Southwest, and it would have been really hard to make the flights work because obviously with a cruise ship, it's got a onboard time and a, debarkation time. So you don't have as much flexibility as just getting to a, resort whenever you want kind of thing. But, it looked interesting. Like I was very curious because obviously that ship's not as big as like, the Disney Dream or the Disney Fantasy. It'd be a very different experience, but different's good. Like I don't mind different. I would like to have different. I mean, and I've never gone anywhere far away in my life. I wouldn't know what to think going to Hawaii. Like I'm excited to go to Disneyland in 10 days. That'll be fun.
Well, look at it this way. Well, you go to Hawaii for the cruise and then spend some time at Aulani.
Yeah, that's what see, the thing is, and I know this sounds terrible on Disney podcast. My wife kind of wants to do something besides Disney because we always, she says, and I get it, right? Like everything we do is Disney, and she just wants one trip. Like,
yeah, I get it.
And I mean, Alani's not like a hard Disney, thing. It like, I think she'd be fine with that, but it's like, I'm trying to like, it's like a 20-year to 1 ratio kind of thing. Like she has never complained about going to Disney World, which I mean, why would you, right? But I mean, there's also something to be said for seeing, she's never gone to Hawaii. She's never gone to like the beach in California, or, gone to the mountains in Colorado, or gone to Las Vegas. She's given up all those vacations because like I've always wanted to go to Disney, and that's what we do. So I'm trying to like honor her wishes on that trip. So it's hard for me because I want to go to Aulani, but I'm also trying to, be a good husband at the same time.
Well, do a layover in San Diego at the Hotel Del Coronado.
Yes.
And then you get a little bit of Disney because that's what inspired the Grand Floridian.
Right. I've seen that. Yeah. And I know people that have stayed there. It's pretty amazing. Hey, yeah,
it's a nice hotel.
Well, hey, I appreciate you calling. I'm going to jump here so we can get some more calls in before the top of the hour, but so good to talk to you. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. That was just great to hear that. And don't be a stranger. I'd love to talk to you again.
Yeah, sounds good, Mike. You take it easy.
Hey, have an excellent week. Thanks again for calling. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Take care.
All righty. We have another call. Let's get this one in here. I believe it is Eric out in Connecticut. Eric, what's going on?
Hey, how are you? I just got back from the Disney 100 exhibition out in Philly, and I thought I'd give you a call and tell you how it was.
So let me know, because I'm curious about these events, kind of like D23 and, the expos, all those events that are away from the Disney destinations, but you can still get your Disney fix. So what did you think?
So it's about $25. It's held at the Franklin Institute. And what I would call it is it's a really good museum exhibition of Disneyana. You start, it felt at the beginning, I was concerned that it would be oversold. As in physically oversold, as in too many people there, because you wait in a corral and then they put you in this long hall and they only let you in like a few people at a time. And when we got in, it was like 45 minutes in this line. And unlike Disney. There was like nothing going on in this line. You were just walking up a long ramp. And then when we got in, it enters into, they bill it as a hologram of Walt Disney. And there really is this impressive animation of Sorcerer Mickey, but it's kind of Walt Disney projected on a scrim in front of a screen. And they kind of oversold that. But as you get in, the crowd loosens up. You go first through the history of the studios. So you're walking through an early part. And if you've ever been to the Walt Disney, what's it in Hollywood Studios? What did they call it again?
The One Man's Dream?
The One Man's Dream. You'll feel very familiar as you're walking through the first part. There's some studio memorabilia. There's a timeline. There's some drawings of Oswald. Some of them were done by Walt himself. Others were done by a Disney animator. One of them is definitely an Ub Iwerks of the Dancing Skeletons from the Skeleton Dance, which was cool to see.
That's super cool.
And then as you're walking through this, you come to a room that looks like there are crystals, kind of mirrored crystals around. And as you turn around the first one, it's the actual book that they open at the beginning of Snow White, because they open a physical book there.
Really?
And you're like, oh my gosh, that's the book from the movie.
Holy
They
cow.
have the actual physical book from Sleeping Beauty, where they did the same thing. And this room is filled with like memorabilia from the movies, but not just like, oh, here's a costume of Mary Poppins. They have the snow globe from Feed the Birds.
Oh man, that's awesome.
They have one of the horses from the carousel scene. And I don't want to give away too much, but that's kind of the things that they have as you're walking through each of these rooms. You're like, oh my gosh, that's an original Winnie the Pooh stuffed animal. Or you get to the part, and not a lot of it is about the Disney parks, but there's a famous shot of Walt Disney on the train, and he's holding a stuffed Mickey, the engineer.
Oh yeah, where he does the arm, like on a stick or something. Yeah.
Yep, it's there.
Oh,
that is actually there. And we were they have a full size Nautilus model from 20,000 Leagues.
Oh man.
So, as we were walking through, we're like, okay, that's nice. And then like your jaw just drops at some of the props and things that they have. Some of it was like amazing, like that stuff. Some of it was, they had a pirate ship from Peter Pan, one of the ride vehicles.
Oh,
there's a few interactive bits too, where you can like touch a screen and they'll show you how they made the characters, like Moana, and they'll tell you about the inspirations and stuff. And those are fun. The kids love going to those interactive tables, and the adults are walking around and like, is that the reference sculpture for Sports Goofy? And it was the reference sculpture that they use for Sports Goofy, because when they do an animation, they make a 3D model before they do the animation, or they did back in the day.
That makes sense.
And there was the one that they used for Sports Goofy from the shorts, or Elliot from Pete's Dragon. So it was $25. And I'd say if you don't mind standing in that big long line, as you go through the actual museum exhibit, the line begins to disperse as people begin to, spread out among the exhibit. I was not expecting much. And it's not a very big exhibit. I think we went through the whole thing in about an hour and a half. But for $25 for a Disney fan to walk through and see some of these incredible relics, not just of Disney history, but like of film history.
Yeah.
It's just an excellent exhibition. And I know it's only going to be in Philadelphia, London, and one other city. If you can make it, you should go if you're a Disney fan or a film fan in general. It's really, really worth the time.
First of all, that was an excellent review. And Teal is in our live chat, and she's curious about going, so she appreciates you calling in with this review. That real quick, where is it in Philadelphia? Where's the venue?
It's at the Franklin Institute. right on Museum Row. You know the steps that Rocky runs up
Now you're talking
in
about
the first
language.
Rocky movie?
I do know that. Yes.
Yeah, when he's running down that whole avenue, there's a huge avenue full of museums. There's a Rodin Museum and the a world famous art museum. The Franklin Institute is one of those museums along there, and you can either get a time ticket for the exhibition itself, or you can do the Franklin Institute, which is kind of a combination science children's museum. It's an excellent museum, so you can do either the museum and the exhibition, or just the exhibition. I think the museum and the exhibition is $45 to $75, but the exhibition itself is $25. And again, it's excellent. You exit through a gift shop, and they actually had some very nice merch there too, that I had to stop myself from buying because I have too much Disney stuff already.
I hear you. If I bring home any more Disney stuff, my wife's gonna kill me.
But if you're looking for like a good coffee table book of Disney's 100th years, they have some fine stuff in that gift shop. They had interactive things from music, like a lot of the Annette Funicello recordings that you could put on headphones and hear, some of Hollywood records and the early Disney records there. It was just an excellent exhibition.
That's awesome. I wish it was going to be in the Midwest. Well, one last thing before I cut you loose here. So, and again, I appreciate you calling in with this great review, because it's going to help out a lot of folks, especially when it hits the feed on Thursday. Was it hard to get tickets? Did you get them day of? Did you buy them pre-sale?
You should buy them in advance. I did not buy the tickets. My friend did, and I don't want to say quite surprised me with them, but was kind of like, hey, let's do this. And I hadn't even thought of it. So she planned all that. I couldn't help you. I don't know how easy it is to get tickets anymore or anything. I know that they're not sold out, but maybe days are limited, because I tell you, it was packed. It was like we were at the parks. You saw people walk around with the Disney shirts. People were wearing their Mickey ears.
That's cool. Yeah.
We Disney people are a special breed. That's
yeah. Yeah. It's not hard to find. I'm sure there was a lot of, those stickers on cars outside in the lot, the Mickey heads and stuff. Yeah. We're a breed.
Absolutely.
We're totally. Well, Eric, that's awesome. I appreciate you taking the time to share that with us, because, that's something that could totally fly under the radar, and could be you could be up near Philly and totally miss it. And that'd be a shame.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. If you're in Philly, go see it if you can.
All right. Hey, Eric, you have a great week. It's good to talk to you.
You too. Have a great week.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, 407-413-9395. The calls have been rolling in tonight, and I'm so appreciative of that. And I will give a report that Scotty G's Michigan State Spartans have survived the weekend, moving on to the Sweet 16, and we'll be playing next weekend. So good for him, and it's always good when one of our teams advances to the Sweet 16. All right, we're heading out to Pennsylvania with our good friend Brooke. Brooke, what's going on? Happy Sunday.
Hi, happy Sunday. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I haven't made it over to the Franklin Institute yet, and I'm outside Philly too. I have no reason not to get there.
Hey, we do what we can as a podcast family here. Eric hooked us up.
Yes, that's awesome. I was hoping to share a funny, not funny little story from Marathon Weekend that I learned that I haven't shared with too many of the listeners. Is that okay?
Hey, go for it. I need a swig of soda, so it's all yours. Have at it.
So yeah, this is funny. So it was my first time, everyone, on a race weekend. So I didn't kind of know the layout of everything, and I just finished my first half marathon, and it felt great, but I was very tired. And someone offered me a ride back to Pop. So I thought, oh, great, I'm going to take a ride in a car instead of waiting for a bus. And so I walked towards the parking lot of Epcot, and I really had no idea where I was going. I was just following along with Marlessa and then even the Nymans. And then I got a text from Mindy, a lizard, and she's like, do you want to grab lunch or breakfast at Primo Piatto? And I hadn't been there yet, and you guys have talked it up. So I was like, yes, I want to do that. So I just said, you know what, guys, I'm going to catch a bus to Riviera. I just turned around, and the cast member was like, oh, it's the opposite side of where you are now. You have to go back to the bus area. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then I took 2 more steps. I'm like, actually, you can't go. You just crossed this imaginary line of no return. You can't go back into the race area. I'm like, but I was there 2 seconds ago. And they're like, no, you just, this line is the line. Like, you can't go back without going to the front of the park through security. And my legs are wobbly. You know, I just did my first 10
Oh,
laps.
yeah.
And I'm like, really? I'll dump my bag out. Like, you know, I'm sweaty. Obviously just have a medal around my neck. I'm like, you can search me. I'll throw my bag on the ground. You can toss it, you know, just let me back in to go catch a bus. Cause now my friends left.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, you have to. So, and I had no idea there was like this no entry line that I crossed. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go try to find my friends in the parking lot. And they had mentioned that they were in like the last row of the parking lot. So I like hustle with my tired legs into the parking lot looking for Marlessa, and I could not find them. So like I'm wandering around the edge of the parking lot, you know, in my race gear.
Well, so by this point, you should have signed up for the full marathon because you're getting close, probably.
I know. Well, actually, at the end of the day, I had. but a cast member finds me like wandering around the edge of the parking lot. She's like, "You look lost," and then she said that I just like burst out into tears because like emotionally I'm stranded.
Yeah.
I can't like, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know where my friends are, and they won't let me back into the race area, and I just want to go to Riviera. And you know, the cast members are so kind. That's like, you know, that's one of the things that makes Disney. And she's like, and I was like, do you think if I call an Uber, they'll just come pick me up over on the road right there? She's like, no, just like, let me call someone with a golf cart. So she called someone with a golf cart and they came and picked me up. So I do have a photo of like teary-eyed me riding in a cast member golf cart. And they drove me up to the bus area and like the ride share area. But they dropped me off at the buses. It wasn't really at the ride. It was only at the mini drop off, but not like where you can get an Uber. So I was like, well, I'm here at the buses. I guess I'll take a bus over. And I wander all around the buses. And then the cast member's like, there is no bus to Riviera because you have to take the Skyliner.
Oh yeah. Cause Skyliner, again,
So,
it's a Skyliner resort. Oh my God.
So I'm walking and then I'm walking and walking and walking and I'm exhausted. My legs are toast. And then I call a Lyft. And then I'm running because the lift is already there. So then I'm like running from the bus area over to the actual lift area. And I can't tell you, I think 5 people said, hey, you just ran, chill out. Like, hey, no need to run. You just finished the race because I'm, you know, got my Mylar blanket on and I'm running to the lift. And then I get to Riviera finally, this nice Lyft driver who's actually like a maintenance cast member who like works all night doing Epcot maintenance and then does Lyft rides afterwards. On his way home to pay for his gas to and from Epcot. I thought that was funny. But so he takes me to Riviera, and then the guy at the gate didn't want to let me in because I wasn't a Riviera guest.
Oh my God. You're like, I have worked so hard to get this Madame Croque sandwich for breakfast.
Exactly.
It's now lunchtime, but
like,
I'm still.
I'm like, do you see me? I have a Mylar blanket on. My face is sweaty. Wearing a medal. I'm just trying to get to have
I throw
a Croque Madame because Scotty G said I have to get one.
I throw myself at people's mercy at that point. I'm like, Scotty, they're like, we don't know who Scotty G is. I'm like, he's a legend. And he tells me I got to have this sandwich. And I have just run 13 miles. Please, for the love of God, let me through here. I'm just going to buy a sandwich and then I'm going to be on my way.
He didn't want to let me in.
I'm not vandalizing anything. I'm not bugging anybody. I'm going to mobile order a sandwich. I'm going to sit in a seat for 10 minutes, slam the thing, and I'll be out of your hair.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm coming here to spend money to eat here. And I'm obviously decked out in Disney gear, like post-race Disney gear. And honestly, I was at the point, if he didn't let me in, I would have got out of that lift and like laid down in front of his gate and like made him move me because I was done. Like emotionally, I was done. Physically, I was beyond. It was just such a funny way to end my half marathon experience. And I learned a lesson. Like cars are not near buses, and there's some imaginary line you can't cross.
Well, see, I didn't even know that, but it makes sense. I mean, there has to be a like delineation from the security. Like this is where you're clear and not. I mean, I get why they have that. But you know what? I'm going to be careful now. And I'm walking away to make sure like, okay, this is the point of no return at this point. So make sure you do. But you know, you make a good point though. And this is something for first time runners. Maybe folks are going out for spring surprise here in the next few weeks. Yeah. There's many times this really hits me over marathon when I'm doing dopey, but a lot of times I'll just think about what do I want for breakfast? And if I don't want to go back and get a shower immediately, which I usually do, but sometimes I'm hungrier. like I'll take the bus to the hotel that has the breakfast item. Like if I want beignets,
Well,
I'll get on the French Quarter bus, get beignets, then
exactly.
catch an Uber back to wherever, like at Pop or wherever I'm staying.
Yeah.
You know, I go to my
Well,
breakfast location first.
exactly. And that's what we want to do. I mean, I was so hungry after the run, and I learned one of like the benefits of staying at a more budget friendly Pop is that you do get to like ride the Skyliner to like other dining places.
Right.
If you had enough hamburgers or whatever at Pop. But it was just a really funny story. And really, of course, by the end of the day, I did like my steps equaled like, I think it was like 21 miles. I was like, I should have just done
You
the
were in the
marathon.
neighborhood.
But that's my inspiration for next year to try it. But it was just a really like funny story. I mean, not funny at the time. I was like,
I say it
crying,
was
but
kind of tragic actually at the time, but
yeah.
you know, it's a good heartwarming
Yeah.
story of you know, the human spirit overcoming multiple obstacles
Yeah.
in one day.
And the cast member was really helpful in trying to get me where I needed to go. The gate guy, I don't want to talk about him, but the Epcot cast member was really nice.
Those rule followers, those people that follow rules down to the letter. Urgh.
And I get it, but I was like,
No, I get it too. I know. I'm just kidding.
Like, I'm sweaty. You can pat me down for all I care,
Yeah.
you know? It was funny. It was funny.
Like, if I'm going to do something bad, I'm not doing it after running 13 miles. I'm doing it before I run 13 miles. Like, seriously, who does it after?
Yeah, it was hard. It would be hard for someone to sneak back in with bad intentions when they're all like decked out with their medal and their mile.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like,
That's commitment. And Tanja, she's in the live chat, says that was the perfect blending of magical and not so magical. That's perfect. That's exactly right.
Exactly.
That's a little yin and yang right there for you.
Yeah, and I thought of it when you guys are doing a podcast in the past couple months about like pictures that you have that have funny memories, and I'll always have a picture of me teary-eyed on a golf cart riding through the Epcot parking lot with this cast
Hey,
member.
you know what? They always say, I listen to a lot of country music the last 24 hours because I'm trying to avoid basketball after my team losing. And, you know, there's a couple songs that are real popular right now that just talk about how everything, good or bad, is a memory. And, you know, with time, the story gets better. So that's how you got to look at it.
Yep. And I think going forward, that Prima Piazza will be my post-race tradition.
There
but
you
I'll
go.
take the bus.
But yeah, let's make it a little easier. Let's get there like quicker next time. Let's just go back into either I would catch the bus. That's the easiest way, or just go back through the park if you got a park reservation and catch the Skyliner. But I just the bus is your way to go.
Yeah. And before I stop, I have one quick question for you because you were really helpful this week. I emailed you about passports for cruises, and you told me that I can just have a driver's license and birth certificate because I have to get my passport renewed. And that was great, and that's what I'll do for my daughter. But I forgot I don't have a U.S. birth certificate because I was adopted from internationally. So I probably do have to get a passport, my renewal.
I would definitely do that to be safe.
I don't have a U.S. birth.
It says official birth certificate, and I don't know. I'm not 100% positive because I've not had that come up. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna do the renewal. I'll fast track that.
Yes, passport it, and then I can sleep, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of us. Yeah. Yes, please have a passport. That'll make me because you just gave me heart palpitations right there when you said that. Because I'm like,
I know.
I don't want to have to wave to you.
A birth certificate from Colombia from the 80s probably doesn't look that
official. We're on the same cruise, and I don't want to have to wave to you as we're pulling out. You know, like that'd be just, you know. Then you'd have another story like late July. We'd have another story to talk about here on the show, and I don't want to talk about that one. I want to talk about a second golf cart kind of situation.
Yep.
That would be horrible. Yeah, let's not do that. Cool.
Crying ride.
Yeah, okay, we're not doing that. Okay, we're hanging up and you're getting the passport thing rolling tonight. Let's go because you're giving me a heart attack right now. Let's stop. This stuff's for real.
All right.
Oh my God.
Well,
okay.
Thanks for taking my call.
I appreciate it. You talk to you later, Brooke. You have a good week. Thanks for calling. Great story. All right, bye. All righty. Well, that's going to do it for tonight's show. Thank you so much for keeping me company for the great calls. It's so fun talking Disney with everybody. Mike, I'm sorry I didn't get you calling with past the top of the hour. We got to roll here, but next week, I promise we'll have the phone lines open. But our community is awesome. We get to talk about Disney. We get to talk about the good stuff. You know, the exhibit in Philadelphia, Eric gave a great review of that. We got to talk about being on cruise ships, what it's like to live on a cruise ship. You know, we got to talk about the new stuff coming to Walt Disney World, what it's like to be a DVC member right now in these weird times where you can't buy an annual pass. This is what this community is all about. We're Disney fans. We support each other. we got to talk a little basketball and a little Team USA baseball too. So it's pretty awesome. But thanks for being my friend over the past 15 years, supporting our show. I cannot thank you enough for that. I love doing these shows. I hope you always know that. Hope you can always tell. It's not just like, oh, I got to do a show. I love doing these shows. This is so much fun. We'll put 2 more out. We'll record 2 more tomorrow on Monday. So please join us around 5:45 Eastern. The crew will assemble. We'll record 2 more shows. We'd love to have you join us live in the chat for that. And we'll be filling up your feed with more podcasts this week. So thanks for being a part of all of our shows. Don't forget our podcast brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Again, we'd love to help you plan that next Disney getaway. Just swing by themagicforless.com today. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And also, thanks to our patrons. You allow us to put these shows out not once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. We put out 4 or 5 shows a week. And it's because of your support. And our patrons get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. If you'd like to get that, come on over, patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give me a follow on the social media this week. I'd love to talk to you there in between shows at beourguestmike. I'm usually over on Instagram and Twitter. And of course, subscribe to the show on Facebook or YouTube. Just search for the Be Our Guest Podcast. You'll get alerts every time we go live so you can join us. And we love to have you here as a part of everything we do because it's our show, all of our show together. And it really is. All right. Well, we're going to get out of here and hope you can join us on Monday as we record the shows live. That'll make it more fun for us. And if it's Thursday, you're listening to the show on the feed. Thanks for hanging with us. Hope you enjoyed a little variety here on a Thursday. So until we get back together again, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Yeah, I get why they don't want people coming to especially parking at the Riv, right? Because they want to jump the sky, any of the Skyliner resorts, because you wouldn't want people parking and riding the Skyliner. But I mean, yeah, I can see the drop off. But I mean, come on now. Like it's a single person. Let them get their breakfast sandwich. I get it. I understand it though. But man, those sandwiches are so good. They're so good. I haven't had one in a couple of years. I need to have one. Thanks, Tanja. You have a good evening down in Tennessee. Your team survived as well. The Vols are on to the Sweet 16. All right. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Hope you can join us. You guys have a good Sunday night. Bye.